Hey everyone! I am back with a new video, and this is going to be the last for my Queen Couture collection. It makes me sad that I didn't get to complete the 10 illustrations that I had planned, but I am also glad to finally be uploading this video to end this series and hopefully to start on other things. I feel like this was something that I really needed to get over and done with so I could move forward now. And with that said, let's get started. So, for this one, I only managed to film the coloring, so there will be no sketching or inking process, and hopefully that's okay. But anyway, the concept behind this dress was to play with the idea of purity being this expectation society has on women or what women are supposed to be like, but we are a little bit rebellious at heart, so I wanted to include a hint of that in this design. I don't know if you guys watched the sketchbook flip through for this collection, but if you did, and you remember the pages inside the sketchbook, the designing process actually became divided into two parts. The first part was inspired by a lot of gold and mostly armor, and combining the idea of masculinity and femininity. Then eventually I ran out of ideas for that, so I approached the theme through a different perspective. And that was actually the play on modesty, something that I guess a lot of women, such as myself, are expected to be. There's the pressure to stay silenced, to stay put, and to stay pure, such as when we're told to act like a lady. That's why there are two main elements that I use in this collection, which I vaguely remember I mentioned in the first video, I think, like armors and flowers. Anyway, that's kind of how the collection became divided up. Whenever there were scroll patterns on the dress, those designs were made during the first half of the process when I was inspired by contrasting and combining male and female elements. And whenever there are flower embellishments on the dress, it's part of the second half of the design process when I'm inspired by social expectations on women. I actually really like the theme of this collection, and like I said, it makes me sad to think that only a small part of this really broad theme was explored, but perhaps in the future, when I know more or gain more knowledge and experience, I can revisit this theme with a fresh new perspective, but that's so far ahead in the future though. So, yeah. For this design, I opted for a white color for the dress since that's also a symbol for purity. And I also had flowers that stretch across the bodice, looking like it's eating away the dress to reveal the undergarment, though it's not the undergarment since I imagined it to be attached to the dress. But then again, it could be the undergarment and the dress has a sheer fabric that matches the skin tone to create the illusion that the flowers are like tattoos on the body, kind of like those sheer lace dresses by Ellie Saab. Anyway, to keep with the white color of the dress, I chose classic red roses for the flowers, not only for the background, but also for the dress. I don't know, but red can also be associated with something promiscuous or maybe something evil. Maybe evil's not the right word, but I imagined a blood splatter on a white surface. It's very dramatic. And because I had that in mind, I had a spontaneous idea to make it look like as if the flowers are bleeding onto the white fabric. It may seem overkill, but I ended up liking it, and to me it kind of looked like the final touch. This was also the drawing when I tried to apply some of the techniques you guys mentioned in one of the videos for this collection, since I mentioned that I struggled with coloring in leaves and making them look realistic or less fake. I tried some of the tips before I colored this one, and I decided that the one I really liked was laying down a peachy color before laying down the green color. I don't know if you noticed that in the video, but I really like it compared to the previous illustrations. The color also reminds me of the tree outside my bedroom window, which is actually my neighbor's tree. It's cool because the leaves are a nice yellow-green color, and during spring, when the sun still sets early, it casts a warm orangey yellow light on the leaves, and the color is very beautiful. I have absolutely no idea how to properly describe the color and give it justice, but I've wanted to recreate the color since. And the peach with the green is close to the real thing, but it's still missing something, so I'll still have to experiment with that. Anyway, that is all I have to say for this illustration. I know it's short mostly because I don't know what happened to the sketching and the inking footage. I probably didn't film it, or maybe it got corrupted. I don't remember since I filmed this back in July. And I was also planning to film the remaining around that time, but July was not my best month in terms of making art, and I had to force myself to draw this one for the collection. I do like how this turned out, but I definitely wish I still had the motivation to complete this. Like I said, I am both happy and sad that this is the last one for the Queen Couture collection. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and this collection. I know that some of you are a bit upset when I mentioned that I was going to take a break from fashion illustrations, since I know that it's how my channel started. Actually, that's not really how it started, but I am not about to tell anyone how it actually started unless you were here from the very beginning. Anyway, all I know is it's only an indefinite break. And also, thank you to everyone who's been supportive. It really means a lot that you're willing to stick around and see where this art journey thing is going. And that is it. If you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Please check out the links in the description box below for my social media accounts such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one.